Hey guys, my name is Paula and I am the owner and the founder of La Manila, my new business venture. And I look like a mess right now, so pardon me guys. And I wanted to share to you guys my journey on how I built up this business and how I'm in the process and the journey right now of scaling my business and applying every single thing that I learned in business and in life and in marketing. And it's a challenge for me. And I know there's a lot of you out there who probably wants to start their own startup journey or their own small business this 2023. And so here I am guys, willing to share to you my journey, my ups and downs, my struggles and challenges, and also finding a way to find my success. And so without further ado, stay tuned and let's get started. I'm trying to be as casual as I can, and this is my candle. And I wanted to show you, this is the box. It took me weeks designing. By the way, everything that you see is by my design. So I launched my candle business last year of November, but I didn't start taking orders and running advertisements on my social media channels right after December of last year. So technically, it's been a month that I've been running my business now, and I am fully e-com. I'm hosting it through Shopify. I wanted to create this video is because I know that there's a lot of you guys out there who just probably want to try and market themselves in a full e-com site like I do, or e-com business like I do. And I do have inclinations and I do have plans in the future to join fairs, bazaars, or get into wholesaling. But as of now that I'm trying to scale and grow my business, everything that I do is e-com. And so before I talk about anything else, I just want to talk about the steps that I took that took me at least a full year of developing the whole brand and product, and also the formulation of my candle. Is for those of you, this are the tips that I'm giving you guys, is always start with a mood board and a business plan. I think a mood board and a business plan will tremendously help you so much. There's a lot of business plans that is available out there that you can just download. You can go to Etsy, you can go to Canva, and that's a good first to start. And when it comes to the mood board, I would suggest for you to go to your Instagram or TikTok, but I mostly relied on Instagram in the beginning phase of my business, where I would look at inspirations and I would look at other content creators where I want to kind of align or get inspiration with the aesthetics and style and design of my candle. And all the design that you're seeing right now, from the box, sticker, and color, everything is done by me. I did this design, which this box took me a lot of weeks and a lot of revisions in order for me to come up with this final design. I went to a lot of variations from fonts, colors, and what kind of material that I want to use for the box, and same as with the logo of my candle. It is important that you have somehow a little bit of a knowledge when it comes to design, because that will make your life easier, and you will definitely cut the cost of hiring a graphic designer or an artist to do your design. But for those of you who have that extra budget, or you kind of want to like challenge yourself to be more creative when it comes to design, then definitely that option is very much well that you can use at your disposal. But design for me was not the easiest part, because I think especially when it comes to palette, color matchings, font pairings, so those took a lot of time. And yes, sometimes when you have so much selection when it comes to the design that you come up with, or the ones that you make up with, you sometimes take longer making that decision which one to take. But I stuck with a design that resonates fully with my personality and the kind of brand that I want to establish. Then I decided to get into the research phase of my business, dealing and knowing who are my target demographics, the kind of audience and the kind of customers that I want to saturate, and also I want to find online. So everything that I do right now is heavily on social media, since I do have a background in social media marketing and influencer marketing and content creation too. And I just wanted to put everything to a test of every single thing that I learned being part of this industry. as of now, I heavily rely on influencer marketing. I do have a pool and group of influencers where they can review my product and my brand, which I'll also be linking in the description box down below. If you guys want to check out my product and you guys want to leave a review, the description box will be linked in the description box down below. And so please let me know your honest review if you guys decide to test and try my candle out. And so it is a tough business. There's a lot of competition. There's so many candle makers out there. But even though there's a lot of competition out there, there's still a lot of room to grow. There's a huge projection in the next 2028, if I'm not mistaken, about the financial projection of the whole industry as a whole. And you still have a lot of time to get the piece of the pie of this growing industry. And a candle maker and as also a brand owner, I stuck with the formulation only because that I know back when I was burning a lot of candles, I was not aware, I wasn't really paying so much of attention what kind of composition or kind of formulation that I'm burning. Little did I know that the paraffin wax is a byproduct of petroleum. And getting into my research, getting into the product development phase, I did stumble with a lot of contradiction to what I believe in as a brand. That's why I kind of veered toward away using paraffin as my main ingredient in creating these candles. And I made a decision to stick with coconut soy wax. I am actually happy and proud of my choice because I know the environmental impact of sourcing and supporting the paraffin or the petroleum industry, which is not really good for the environment and the planet. There's a lot of news articles out there about the whole industry and their spillage and how it affects the ecosystem and also the habitat of the surrounding areas where they harvest and their farm the petroleum, and also just the things that paraffin emits, even though there's a lot of research that tackles the impact, the minuscule impact of burning paraffin, but those components still lingers there, and no matter how small they are in the air, but those particles still exist. And there's not a lot of studies that are out there when it comes to this minuscule particles that are still lingering in the air, especially the toxin ones. And so the benefits of starting with just full e-com is you have a lot of control, especially when you're starting to test the market first and getting to know who your demographics are. That's very important. That will reduce tremendously your costs, especially if you're starting. And it will also give you more buffer of a time in order for you to figure out on how you want to execute the marketing material and also do a lot of content creation, because I started with a lot of content creation first before I decided to launch, only because those two come hand in hand as your marketing material. Content is still king in marketing, and there are a lot of marketers out there, especially when it comes to social media marketing, that has their own tactics, that has their own methods of promoting their brands and their candles. But as for somebody like me who has experience in social media, I want to stay true to the brand identity of how I want my brand to be perceived as, not like another gimmicky out there, because there is a ton of businesses out there who would incorporate a lot of gimmicks for views and also for that engagement, which I kind of veered towards away, because I do want to make meaningful connections and real connections for my potential customers and audience who will really appreciate what I stand as a brand. And so my brand and my candle, by the way, is 100% made of coconut soy, and I made sure that I looked for manufacturers and suppliers that are supporting the supply chain of the trickle down of this main ingredients, the coconut soy wax. And I found out that my manufacturer, the AAK, which one of their programs is actually they help individual farmers in the Philippines for their coconut waxes, and they have rehabilitations and farming, I don't know what you call it, like baby farms for coconut once they have reached their life cycle. And I wanted something that's so much aligned when it comes to the sustainability and your renewability of the product that I'm launching, and I also am sharing to you guys. That is also very important for me. I first started to launch 4 scents for the meantime, and since I'm still in the phase of testing the market and still getting your input, guys, on what kind of scents you guys like to smell best, and maybe that I can probably launch something in the future that is out of the ordinary that maybe you guys are gonna like. And so the next topic that I want to talk about is, where did I source my raw materials? My coconut soy wax, the wicks, and the fragrance oils, I did source it here in the United States. My major supplier is Candle Science. But when it comes to the vessel, the packaging, the stickers, and everything, I did got all of these from Alibaba. And so it's just so much more easier for me, and it's also less costly to start this kind of manufacturing, and also knowing where your supplier is. But I also had to make sure that my suppliers comply with the safety standards, and I also made sure that this craft paper is FSC certified, and I want to make sure that this craft paper is off of quality, that it's compostable, that it is biodegradable, and I also had all the proper labels and markings. That is very important, especially for a lot of candle makers out there who want to start this kind of business, because you have to remember, this is still a flammable type of material, and there are a lot of safety measures that you have to observe, and especially in making your candle, that there are a lot of candle makers out there who will give you these resources. And I was also part of the Facebook of the Candle Makers group on Facebook, that I learned a lot also in doing my own testings, and also getting the hang of the whole structure of candle making and running a business. Because I believe, as an entrepreneur, in order for you to really know the ins and outs of your businesses, you have to start from the bottom, which is you have to do everything. And yes, being an entrepreneur, I think that's one thing that you have to embrace if you want to be a business owner and a founder, is it will really consume a lot of your time. But I think it's a transition, and I feel like in the past, in my early 20s and until my late 20s, I've traveled the world already. I've experienced what I needed to experience, and I've always had the dream and inclination to build and start my own business. And I just took this opportunity and privilege right now in order for me to see where I want to see myself in the next 5 years. When it comes to cost, I think with the whole fixed assets that I have, my printer, my thermal printer, my equipment like my wax melter, also my station itself, which I'll be showing in this video, is maybe it cost me around a little more or less $3,000 to $5,000. And these are very minimal, by the way, and that $3,000 to $5,000 is including all these materials that you're seeing already in front of me: the waxes, the wick, the boxes that I sourced from, the stickers, the labels, and everything. There are other costs that I had to not put into because the design came from myself. Copywriting, social media management, I was the one doing it. Inventory and everything, bookkeeping and everything, that's my role that I was taking more on. And I think that was probably the cost that I incurred so far. It's best for you to have like some knowledge when it comes to accounting or bookkeeping, because that will give you at least a guideline on where to kind of put where your costs are, especially when it comes to marketing, especially for e-com businesses like you and me. We're gonna be heavily relying on social media, TikTok, Instagram, those major two, and also YouTube, that in order for you to increase your brand awareness. So when I was sourcing this with Alibaba, I wanted to make sure that I found suppliers and manufacturers who would agree with my minimum order quantity, and that's very important. I got the vessel on a bargain at the minimum 500, which I bought for a selection of half of it is 350 white vessels, and the remaining, I think 165, is black. But when it comes to this, I got lucky as well with my manufacturer and supplier because she was so lenient on me. And that was probably the bargaining process that a lot of you guys, if you decide to resort through Alibaba, and maybe their minimum order quantity would not be your suitable, because I had to make sure that I fall into the minimum order quantity of at least 500 pieces assorted for all these each. So if you're wondering why this has a label sticker and this one doesn't have a label sticker, because I just wanted to show to you guys without it. And all my boxes for my candle with different scent types is generic and the same for each. So what only differs outside the box is the sticker, depending on what type and what kind of scent you're getting. And this is what I want to show you guys. I had to make sure that I incorporated the QR code into my product. Here, there's at least two, which is the main website that is shown here, and this is the care candle instruction that you'll find here. And so QR codes are free, by the way. You can just auto-generate them yourselves, and there's a lot of sites out there who would teach you and tutorials on how to generate your own QR code. And they're very helpful, guys, especially if you have customers who are just on the go and they're interested and intrigued with your product. Having a QR code as well at the vessel like this will make their life easier, and especially easier for you if you want to like maximize the full marketing potential of your business and your product. So yes, put some QR code in it. Yeah, okay. Warnings are very important, and also product liability insurance is also very important. So yes, those are the things that I also want to talk about when I launch my business, is having my LLC. I didn't registered as a DBA. I did sign myself as an LLC, and I also have to work on, I already had, like, you have to process your sales tax, your permit, and also your product liability insurance that you have to pay. And there's many other product liability insurances out there, which is especially for candle combustible businesses out there, even though there are already warnings and instructions on how to use a candle. Not a lot of people will probably a lot of them mostly will forget to leave their candle burning and just leave it unattended. And you'll never ever know the kind of casualties that will ever happen, regardless of your so much of instructions already about safety and guidelines on burning a candle. So yes, that will save you a lot of headache in the future to have a product liability insurance. I didn't want to make this video too long for you guys because I still want to know, guys, what are your thoughts and your reactions on my first big venture ever into entrepreneurship. And I think these are my baby right now. I don't know, they just keep me alive. Talk about passion. I think that's when you define passion, when you just do something regardless of the reward and the outcome. And yeah, so please don't forget to check my product and my company that I'll be linking in the description box down below. Don't forget to follow me as well on all my social media accounts and give us a shout out as well. So for those of you who are watching, be safe, and I hope you learned a thing or two. And thank you guys, and have a good day. Goodbye. Whew. Okay. Oh my gosh. I haven't vlogged for quite a long time, but somehow I got to share to you guys my candle.